Our series begins with Choi, who has just bought a piece of land, but it is a rather large piece of land. If a horse ran in it, it would run all day just to reach the end. Choi places flags on this land to make it known that it is his property and no one can approach it. Choi believes that money is the password to everything in life, and as they say, money builds a road in the sea. Choi knows the value of money very well because he suffered a lot in his life. Choi has quite a story, and to know his story, we will go back a few years, specifically to the year 1990. But while you are going back, dear viewer, do not forget to like and subscribe on your way. We see Choi changing because today he will be released from prison and he will finally be free after. He spent years locked up. We learned that he was imprisoned because he was working with a gang involved in shady business. This gang was arrested. He leaves very happy, looks at the prison one last time and says, "I am never coming back again, and I will walk the straight path." But fate has another opinion. Suddenly a man approaches him, looks him up and down and says to him, "I heard that you are skilled in martial arts and your strength is unusual." Choi tells him, "Yes, whoever stands before me, his mother must have prayed against him at dawn." The unknown man smiles wickedly and says, "But that is what is required. Follow me." Choi tells him, "No, by God, I can't. I am great at fighting, but I decided to repent and stay away from trouble." This man is surprised and introduces himself as Song, hands him his card, and tells him, "When the world gets tight for you, come to me. I am sure you will come to me." Choi is very fast at memorizing. He memorizes the number on the card. Song is impressed by his ability to memorize and hopes he comes to him as soon as possible. After that, Choi goes to meet his sister and asks her about her son. She tells him, "You will find him in the library. Does he do anything else?" Choi goes immediately to the library, and there he sees Kim, his nephew, who is a bookworm and loves books to the point that he refuses Choi's invitation to dinner out. He tells him, "Instead of treating me to dinner, get me a book with the money you would pay." We learn that Choi loves his nephew to the point that he returns to fighting for his sake. He goes with a group heading out to fight, and he does not understand who they will fight or even why. He does not even care. The most important thing to him is returning to his nephew with the books he wants. He enters fierce battles, but he is strong in fighting and comes out without a single injury. He continues like this for more than 10 years until he becomes one of the most famous gangsters. He enters battles in exchange for money. One day he is on a mission and kidnaps a man and puts him in the trunk of the car. He looks at the man he kidnapped and feels sorry for him, especially when he learns that this man owes debts to the person who ordered them to catch him. What is happening is because he could not pay the debts, he is forced to watch the injustice happening to the man while remaining silent. After that, the person employing Choi goes to talk to him and says, "I noticed that you are upset, but look, I will tell you something. Whoever you pity will make you poor. In short, harden your heart." We learn that this person is named Ming. He works in loans and usury, God forbid. A person with no mercy, and money means everything to him. We learn that Choi now has a lot of money and supports his sister and her son at a very good financial level. Years pass with Choi in the same situation. After several years, we see Kim, Choi's nephew. Kim has grown up and become a young man who dreams of entering law school. Actually, he keeps studying until he gets the score for it. He enters and graduates with a high score too. Kim is an ambitious young man with willpower. He dreams of becoming a clever prosecutor, and for that, he agrees to work at a law firm, even though the lawyers in this office are exploitative and work him to the bone. He is forced to train in this office because he cannot be a prosecutor immediately and must climb the ranks. After that, we see Choi talking to Kim. He informs him that he will travel and leave Korea to gather more money than what he currently has. He asks him to take care of his mother in his absence. Kim gets very annoyed because his uncle will leave, and this is because Kim is very attached to his uncle. Despite his sadness, he works hard at his job so his uncle will be proud of him. When he returns to Korea, he manages to win against an important company. This case is the first step in Kim's success and gives him enthusiasm to work harder. We see someone sitting and eating like a rhino. We learn his name is Hyun. He relies on his dad, who promised him that he would make him a prosecutor, but something happens that destroys his dreams. The prosecutor, who is the connection for Hyun's father, enters and informs him that the prosecutor position will not go to Hyun because someone else will be appointed. The words get stuck in Hyun's throat, but his father reassures him that he will make him a prosecutor whatever the cost. Hyun is reassured because his father, whenever he promises something, he delivers. After that, we see Hyun talking to Kim, and we learn that the law firm where Kim works belongs to Hyun's father. Hyun exploits this to steal Kim's effort and makes Kim search and get information about the cases, and in the end, he takes the credit for himself. He is truly shameless. This matter bothers Kim a lot, but he decides to endure it until he can reach his goal. At this time, our heroine appears, Jin, who works as a policewoman. She is standing and crying next to her mother's grave, who died 4 years ago. Suddenly, an officer comes and informs her that she is wanted for questioning. Jin does not understand what she did, but she goes with him anyway. We go back to Choi's past, specifically after he got out of prison by a long time. He is riding public transport and sees a girl fighting a group of men. The girl is like a ninja and breaks them one by one. However, the number of men increases. Choi tells them, "No, all of you against one girl is not manly at all." He joins the fight with her and hits anyone who comes in front of him left and right until the police arrive and arrest them all. In prison, Choi talks to the girl and tells her, "What do I have to do with this? Why didn't you just stay quiet? Did you have to fight and drag me into this? I just got out of prison." While Choi is scolding the girl's mother arrives, bails Choi out, and takes him home with her. Choi is surprised by what is happening. He talks to her and asks, "Why did you bring an ex-convict into your home?" She tells him, "Because you helped Jin, my daughter. This confirms to me that you are a good person." She offers him to leave crime and gang work behind and work with her. The offer is tempting for Choi, and he agrees to work with her. We return to the present and see Choi after he returned to Korea. Choi is surprised when he finds an old message from Jin's mother. She informs him that she is in big trouble and asks him to call her. Choi calls her immediately, but her phone is turned off. Therefore, he calls his colleague who works with him and tries to get any information about Jin's mother from her. He is shocked to learn that she died in an accident. After the investigation, the police told him that the accident was a suicide. Choi is saddened by the news and says that it is impossible that she ended her life. He remembers his memories with her while grieving for her. He takes his colleague and goes to visit Jin's mother's grave. He talks to his colleague about Jin's mother and tells her that she was the first person to treat him with love and loved him like a son. We return to Jin, whom the officer is interrogating. He asks her where she was during the past period. She tells him she was exercising. She is surprised that the officer is interrogating her without any charges. She asks him, "What is the problem if I disappear for a few days?" During the interrogation, 3 officers enter and release her. Jin looks at the officer confidently and tells him, "I was sure this would happen." We learn that Jin is the same girl Choi helped when she was fighting on the bus. The woman whose grave he was visiting is her mother, who helped Choi and treated him like a son. We return to Choi, who is riding in a taxi, recalling his sad memories and zoning out. He remembers receiving a call from someone asking to meet. When he went to meet this person, he was surprised to find it was an ambush. Someone suddenly appeared and hit him with a car. A gang stepped out of the car, caught him, broke his bones, and left him battered. After they beat him to a pulp, their leader came and told him that he was in a position he did not deserve. He took the money he earned from working with Jin's mother. He did not stop there. He also ordered his gang members to kill Choi. They were indeed going to kill him, but Choi managed to escape from them at the last moment. He left in sorrow and swore to take revenge on those who did this. He went and met Jin's mother and told her everything that happened. Jin's mother is like a mother to him, and for that reason, she promised him that she would get his rights back from President Ming. He is the person who employed Choi and then took his money. Choi snaps out of his sad memories and decides to start his revenge. Then Choi begins the first step of revenge. He rents an old warehouse and gathers all the people Ming tricked and took their money. He agrees with them to cooperate to get their money back from Ming so they can't take revenge on him. He confiscates their phones to ensure no one records him, and they start working together. They keep working day and night until they manage to crash Ming's stocks to the ground. Choi and his team keep going after Ming until they manage to scam him by manipulating stocks. They take their money from him without him noticing. At the same time, Choi is distributing the money. Ming is going crazy and understands what happened. He feels like he's losing his mind until Choi comes and tells him, "Do not overthink or wonder. I am just taking revenge for what you did to me. As for the gang you sent to beat me, their reckoning is separate." He leaves after shocking him, and he is about to have a stroke. After Choi teaches Ming a lesson and slaps him on the back of his neck, he goes to meet Jin. As soon as Jin sees him, she is surprised because she has not seen him for a long time. She says to him, "Wow, are you still alive? I thought you died or something." All this time without a message or even a phone call. She reminds him of their memories together when they used to spend their time going out together. He tells her, "Look, I remember everything. Did I stay away out of meanness? I had to travel to collect money, and here I am. After collecting the money, I returned to look into the issue of your mother's death." She becomes happy knowing he is interested in the case of her mother's death and does not believe it was suicide. She takes him to her house and shows him that she is also investigating the matter. She informs him that before her mother died, strange things were happening, like her mother was being taken for questioning and interrogated without any active case. This was because her mother was going to run for the elections. Surely the opposing candidates did this to prevent her from running. Jin continues speaking and informs Choi that she kept fighting until she managed to get her mother out of prison. At that time, she was framed for forging evidence to get her mother out. During these events, her mother died in an accident, and everyone said she ended her life because she was depressed due to the investigation. Choi gets annoyed when he hears what happened and tells Jin, "Leave this matter to me and I will reveal the truth. At that moment, Jin's expression changes and she asks him, "What will you do if your nephew is involved in the matter?" This sentence is a shock to Choi, who is attached to Kim and considers him his son. He falls silent because any word might upset Jin and she has had enough. At this time, Kim is walking with Hwang, who is the prosecutor that Hun's father sent Kim to work with. We learn that Hwang is a snake who is only good at evil and had a hand in what happened to Jin's mother. He takes Kim and goes to meet the journalists and makes Kim speak about the case he is working on. He notices that Kim is silent and cannot utter two words together, so Hwang does the talking. The situation opens Kim's old wounds and reminds him of his school days when he was so weak that the teacher bullied and hit him because he knew that. His mother worked at a bar. When he remembers his mother, another wound opens and he says to himself, "Another wound? Have I recovered from the first one?" We learn that his mother has early onset dementia and has started hallucinating, even though she is still in her 40s. She lives in the hospital, but thinks she is still working at the bar and acts strangely. After Kim remembers his mother, he decides to visit her, and there he finds two surprises. The first surprise is that his mother can no longer recognize him. The second surprise is that he meets Choi, whom he sees for the first time in years. Choi talks to Kim and tells him what happened while he was away. He informs him that he worked with Ming, who taught him fraud and how to forge documents professionally, to the point that anyone seeing them thinks they are real. He does not tell him that Ming scammed him, so his image does not shake in front of Kim, who always sees him as a hero. Choi learns from his conversation with Kim that he is working on cases against Ming and wants to prove his crimes to win the cases and put him in prison. He tells him he will cooperate with him and help him catch Ming, but on the condition that he stays away from Hwang, who is the head of corruption and made him handle Jin's mother's case. Kim agrees because if he can catch Ming, who is the biggest criminal in Korea, he will be one of the most important lawyers. We shift to Hwang, who is surprised to learn that Kim is Choi's nephew and warns him about him. Ming understands Choi well and knows he is not easy and might use Kim to take them down. Indeed, Choi intends to do that, but why the doubt? After Ming's words, Hwang gets terrified and goes to gather information about Choi to study, his enemy. He sees photos of Choi with his female colleague. When he gathers information about her, he learns she is an important figure and has many social connections to the point that they nickname her the social butterfly. Hwang understands that Choi's colleague is the one supporting him and emboldening him like this. He decides to separate him from her. The next day, Jin goes to visit her mother's grave and is surprised to find Hwang there too. He talks to her and advises her not to return to work. He tells her to stay away from everything because if she thinks about returning to work or investigating the death of her mother, those who finished off her mother will not leave her alone. Jin likes him and trusts his opinion, but this time, she refuses to listen to him and is determined to know the truth about her mother's death. After that, Jin returns to her home and is surprised to find Choi there. He has cleaned the house for her and is cooking. She looks at him with surprise. He informs her that her mother gave him a copy of the key and tells her she is no longer alone because from today he will be by her side. He sits down to have dinner with her. During dinner, he remembers his memories with Jin's mother, but he does not want to talk, so Jin does not remember her mother and start crying again. Later, Choi is riding the elevator and notices that the three men with him are staring at him. He anticipates their move and asks them, "Are you guys shy to attack, or what?" He starts the attack and beats them up. Afterward, he exits the elevator, but as soon as he steps out, he finds the entire gang in front of him. He talks to the gang leader, who is his friend, and tells him, "We knew you were tough and would finish off the three I sent and break their bones. That is why I came to you with heavy backup. It is true you are my friend and dear to me, but work is work. Get him, son." Before Choi processes the words, he finds the person next to him, shocking him with a taser. He loses consciousness. They kidnap him and throw his phone on the road so no one can contact him. At the same time, Kim talks to Hwang and tells him that he does not want to work with him again. Hwang is surprised and tells him, "Look, either you work willingly or I will frame you for bribery and corruption and imprison you unwillingly." Kim is terrified by his words and agrees to work with him. We go to Choi, who wakes up and finds his friend next to him. He is not tied up or anything. He looks at his friend in surprise, so he tells him, "I was supposed to bury you while you were alive, but I could not do it to you. That is why I tricked them into thinking I buried you and escaped without anyone noticing." Choi says he was sure he would not be able to hurt him. He asks him to stay away from Ming and work with him instead, but his friend refuses. At that moment, he sees needle marks on his friend's hand and understands that he is using drugs. He fears that his friend might weaken and hand him over to Ming to get drugs. Therefore, he decides to escape quickly. He covers his friend's eyes by force and struggles with him, which causes him to crash into a car parked on the road. After that, Choi looks at his friend who is bleeding. He takes his phone, calls the ambulance, and informs them that an accident happened a few minutes ago. He throws the phone, looks at his friend one last time, and tells him, "I called the ambulance for you. This is because because I am not ungrateful enough to sell you out. He throws the phone, walks away, and leaves him. After that, Ming learns that Choi's friend had an accident. He is very smart and understands that Choi is still alive and is the one behind the accident. He orders his assistant to turn the world upside down until he finds him. At the same time, Jin holds a press conference where she declares that her mother's death was not an accident. She accuses the candidates who were running in the elections of killing her mother and making it look like a suicide, so no one would suspect them. Hwang gets worried when he sees Jin's press conference. He calls Ming and tells him, "This girl seems like she will not rest until she destroys us all." Ming tells him, "Deal with her, or is she too difficult for you?" Before he finishes the sentence, he finds Kim in front of him, telling him that he is under arrest for bribery and corruption. Hwang is on the line with him and is shocked by what he hears. We learn that Hwang is the husband of Ming's daughter. That is why he is afraid of being implicated with him. After that, Kim goes to meet Hwang and asks him, "Did you hear the news yet? Your dear father-in-law is being interrogated right now." Hwang gets tense and tells him, "So what if he is being interrogated, man? What is it to me?" He leaves him and walks away. After that, we see Ming glowing in the prison uniform. He was detained pending investigation. Choi cannot miss this opportunity and goes to visit Ming in prison and tells him, "Look how your face lit up when you wore the prison clothes. Believe it or not, it suits you." Ming understands that Choi came specifically to gloat. He tells him, "Do not worry, I will not be here long anyway. My money will get me out of here like pulling a hair from dough." Choi tells him, "No, we will make a pastry out of this dough and distribute it in your memory after you rot in prison." He shocks him and informs him that he presented documents proving his corruption. He walks away, leaving him shocked. Ming worries and feels that this time he will not be able to get out of it. At this time, Kim is interrogating Ming's assistant. He is surprised when the assistant tells him he is ready to confess everything, but on the condition that he lets him meet Choi. Kim is forced to agree to his request and decides to talk to his uncle and have him come to visit the assistant. We go to Jin, who is sad and thinking about her mother and how she was broken in her last days and feeling the injustice. She remembers when her mother told her she could not accept being accused of forgery when she lived all her life, walking the straight path. Jin swears she will restore her mother's rights. She goes to visit her mother's grave while feeling sad. After she cries for her and pays her respects, she goes to meet Hwang and tells him, "Do not worry, your turn is coming too, but all in due time." Hwang gets scared of her words and fears she will bring him down like Ming fell. He returns home having a breakdown, keeps screaming, and acts strangely. His condition is very difficult. That is why his wife sits next to him and comforts him. As soon as Hwang calms down, his wife talks to him and asks him to try to get her father out. He falls silent and says to himself, "Maybe in 2 days you will look for someone to get us both out." His wife wonders why he is silent, so he smiles with fake confidence so she does not worry and promises her that he will handle it. He leaves her and goes to meet Kim's colleague at work and tries to gather information about Kim to know how to pressure him and force him to hand over the evidence against Ming so he can get him out. The next day, Choi is walking with Jin and is surprised by a call informing him that the CEO he works with fell from the roof of his house and he is accused of killing him. Choi is surprised and says, "Accused of killing him? How? I just saw him." He is shocked by Kim saying the news is filling the country and everyone knows he is the suspect. He understands that he will be arrested anyway, and even if he runs, he will be caught. He decides to benefit from what is happening and turn it to his advantage. He goes to Kim and asks him to arrest him. Kim refuses and tells him that it is impossible to do that to him, but Choi keeps pressuring him until he makes him agree. He sees that when Kim arrests him, he will be promoted in his job and there will be a benefit from his imprisonment. While Kim is taking Choi to prison, something strange happens. An officer appears and tells Kim that he is under arrest for leaking police information. Kim understands that those backing Ming are trying to take him and his uncle down. He fights with them. At that moment, Hwang comes and tells them to leave him and he will interrogate him later. He takes Choi to interrogate him and tells him, "See how smart I am? I had you for lunch before you had me for dinner. Before you imprisoned me, I implicated you and imprisoned you." Choi does not care about all this talk and is confident that he will be able to get out. After that, Choi enters the prison. While he is entering, he sees Ming standing and looking at him gloatingly. Choi does not care about Ming's looks. He is confident that Kim will not leave him and will keep looking for evidence of his innocence until he finds it and can get him out. After that, they are surprised inside the workshop and locks him in. Suddenly, Ming appears with a group of prisoners. Ming approaches Choi and tells him, "I prepared a surprise for you that is just perfect." He signals the prisoners who tie him up. They put his hand in front of the saw. The saw keeps moving and is about to cut Choi's hand, but the sly devil slips away quickly and manages to push the prisoners holding him. He grabs Ming and puts his hand near the saw. But before the saw reaches Ming, the prisoners attack Choi, and he is forced to let go of Ming. He enters a fight with them. The battle is violent, and the number number of prisoners is large. Choi tells them, "It is unfair, all of you against one," but they do not give him a chance to speak and grab him. One of the prisoners approaches, Choi holding a screwdriver in his hand. Choi says to himself, "This is the end. I will live as a one-eyed man." He closes, his eyes in surrender. But the surprise is that the prisoner does not attack him. He attacks the prisoner holding him. Suddenly, he hits him on his head, and Choi loses consciousness. After that, Choi wakes up and finds himself in the hospital, and he does not understand what made the prisoner attack his colleague, who is supposed to be with him, and then hit him on his head and made him lose consciousness. We go to Jin, who is returning home and is surprised to find Kim standing alone in the rain. He is broken and begs her to save Choi, but she turns her back on him and does not answer him. Kim gets angry and tells her, "By the way, it is not just you who is suffering. We are all struggling. I actually decided to be a prosecutor to take revenge on everyone who looked down on me. Even my mom gave birth to me when she was 19 and was forced to raise me alone because my dad died in his prime. The poor woman started hallucinating while she is only 40. He approaches her and pulls the umbrella from her hand. He tells her that his uncle cannot stay in prison. He is broken and accuses her of being selfish, so Jin slaps him and tells him that the most important thing for her is to avenge her mother. She looks at him intently and says, "You look drunk. Sober up first, then we talk." She takes him to her house. She spends the night watching him while thinking about memories with her mother. She feels sorry for Kim and knows how he feels as he tries to save his uncle, whom he considers his whole family. At this time, Wang goes to get Ming out of prison and talks to him, saying, "I used all my authority to get you and your assistant out, but be careful these days because you are being watched. If you fall, I won't be able to save you." The next day, Jin is driving her car. Suddenly, a gang appears and attacks her, but Jin is a ninja and is not afraid of them. She grabs the piece of iron she keeps in her car. She keeps hitting them, and they hit her violently, but despite that, Jin does not surrender. She keeps resisting them until the police pass by her. The gang fears the police and escapes. We go to Choi, who returns to prison after getting out of the hospital and decides not to be weak again and not allow what happened to him to recur. He goes to the prisoners who beat him and tells them, "I am here to teach you a lesson." He proceeds to break their bones, one by one. Anyone who falls into his hands gets no mercy. Because of what he did, he enters solitary confinement, but he does not care. The most important thing to him is that he got his revenge. After a month, we see Choi while he is still in prison. An officer talks to him and offers to let him live like a king in prison and protect him from everyone in exchange for giving him a sum of money every month. The offer is very tempting for Choi, but he actually does not have money, so he decides to protect himself. After that, Ming sends one of the prisoners to finish off Choi. This prisoner approaches Choi holding a knife in his hand and is about to stab him, but suddenly another prisoner blocks the attack and hits him. Choi looks at the prisoner leader with confidence and tells him, "From today I have an army inside the prison and no one can touch me." He takes the group of prisoners, who are now on his side, and walks away, leaving the prisoner leader shocked and unsure what to tell Ming. We go to Kim, who is running circles around Ming, trying to find anything against him so he can send him back to prison. After a long search, he finds a suspicious place that Ming's lawyer visits frequently. He photographs this place without anyone seeing him. He takes a photo of the place, shows it to a friend, and learns from him that the place is a gambling hall. Kim gets excited because he found information that might help him, even if it is small. He decides to investigate further until he uncovers the rest of the details. At the same time, a policewoman visits Choi and tells him, "Of course, this is the first time you see me, but I have been working on your case for a whole month and trying to get you out. All I need from you is to speak and tell me what your relationship is with the victim and why there were calls between you." The policewoman notices that Choi is silent and afraid to speak. She assures him that she is sincere and wants to help him to repay Kim for helping her when she was sick. Despite all her words, Choi remains silent, so she decides to come another day hoping he will talk. The next day, Choi receives a visit from his colleague, who looks at him in surprise and asks, "Why do you look so messed up? Whoever sees you would think you have been in prison for a year, not a month." He tells her, "Naturally, I am messed up. I am in prison. Did anyone tell you I am in an amusement park?" His colleague promises to help him get out by any means. He tells her he needs one favor and explains what he wants. After that, the officer who asked Choi for money goes to fight with him and tells him, "I will drink your blood. How could you do this to me?" We learn that Choi had his colleague pay money to the landlord from whom the officer rents and had the landlord evict him. The officer speaks while he is furious and tells him, "If you had given me a quarter of the money you used to hurt me, I would have made you a king in prison." Choi looks at him defiantly and says, "I do not like anyone exploiting me. I had to pull this stunt on you so you would know your limits. Anyway, I will give you the money you want, but on the condition that you are loyal to me and help me inside the prison." The officer's situation is very bad financially, so he is forced to listen to Choi. We go to Kim, who borrows money from Choi's colleague and goes to the suspicious place that he saw Ming's lawyer enter entering. He acts like a normal customer and pays close attention to everything around him. Suddenly, he sees the lawyer leaving the place. He follows him step by step to find out where he is going exactly, but the surprise is that the lawyer had set an ambush for him. He surrounds him with the gang members. Kim gets scared of the gang members' appearance and tells them, "Of course, you know I am a prosecutor and assaulting me is a crime." The lawyer tells him, "Of course we know that, and rest assured we will not assault you. We will finish you off completely, so we do not violate the law that forbids assaulting." He orders the gang members to kill Kim, but before they touch him, they hear police sirens. They get scared and run away. Kim is saved at the last moment. After that, Jin goes to visit Choi. As soon as he sees her, he hugs her and is very happy that she is okay. 2 days later, it is time for Choi's trial. While Choi is present in court, he acts strangely. He fires all the lawyers Kim hired to defend him. This is because he fears they might have taken a bribe from Ming to frame him instead of getting him out. He tells the judge that he has a lawyer who will defend him. At that moment, Jin enters confidently and tells the judge that she is Choi's lawyer. She starts the defense. Her defense of Choi is strong, and she has evidence proving that Choi ties to the job between him and the victim long before the victim died. Despite her strong defense, all she can manage is to get Choi a conditional release. She cannot get him acquitted. At the same time, Hwang fights with Ming because he discovered he returned to shady business. He tells him, "I am fed up with you. I do not have to clean up after you. It was a black day when I married your daughter. From today, take responsibility for your actions." Ming gets upset and slaps him, saying, "You are taking my money. You are not helping me for free." Hwang gets angry because Ming hit him. He tells him, "Keep your money. Find someone else to help you." He leaves him while he is angry. After Hwang leaves Ming, he goes to meet Choi and tells him, "You turned out to be a pro and knew how to play it right and got out." Choi tells him, "Play it right yourself, cooperate with me, and then I will take all the wealth of your father-in-law and give it to you. I will also make him kneel at your feet." The offer is very tempting for Hwang, who is annoyed with Ming because he hit him. Hwang decides to cooperate with Choi to take revenge on Ming and get his rights back. The next day, Ming is surprised. Ming is tense, but he tries to hide his tension and asks her, "Where is the proof that I am corrupt?" She tells him, "No, there is no proof right now, but we will surely find it." He stands up angrily and says, "When you find the proof, come and arrest me." He takes his breath and walks away. When he goes out, he finds his assistant waiting for him and tells him, "When I did not find you at the company, I knew immediately you were at the precinct. You come to the precinct more than you go to the company. It seems you two got used to each other." Ming is annoyed and not in the mood for the assistant's jokes, so he stays silent. After that, we see Jin tying up Choi's friend, whom Choi escaped from before. Choi's friend gets scared when he wakes up and finds Jin in front of him. He asks her, "What do you want?" She tells him, "If it were up to me, I would want to fix you and everyone working with Ming, but my conscience does not allow me. But there is a greater torture, which is preventing you from the drugs you take." She holds the drug syringe and breaks it in front of him. He collapses and begs her not to do that because he cannot live without taking drugs. Jin makes a deal with him. She gives him the drugs in exchange for him telling her all the information he knows about Ming and his shady business. At the same time, Hwang is sitting eating with Ming and trying to delude him into thinking he forgot the slap he gave him. In short, he is lulling him into a false sense of security so he does not suspect him. The next day, we see Choi walking in prison. We learn that he was arrested again since his first release was temporary. He remembers when he planned with Kim and Hwang to take down Ming. He hopes to hear the news of Ming's fall very soon. At this time, Ming's assistant talks to him and informs him that the court froze all their investment funds. He shows him the court order. Ming goes crazy, snatches the order from him, tears it up, and says, "Impossible for me to fall this easily." After that, Hwang goes to visit Choi and tells him that he executed the plan exactly as he told him. He managed, with Kim's assistance, to take down Ming and get a court order to freeze his investment funds. Hwang is very happy because he executed the first plan in ending Ming. He promises Choi that he will get out soon. Choi tells him that the most important thing to him is to continue with the plan and stay after Ming until he imprisons him. We return to Jin, who shows Choi's friend the photo of the CEO, whom Choi is accused of killing. She asks him if he knows anything about the CEO's death. He falls silent and does not answer her. He is unstable because he did not take the dose on time. Jin has to give him the dose. He talks to her and informs her that Ming is the one who, for here, finished off the CEO and framed Choi in this case to get rid of him. He plans to get rid of her too. This information is not new to Jin because she suspected this from the beginning and just wanted someone to confirm her suspicion. At night, Choi goes to Ming's house. Ming is shocked as soon as he sees him and looks at him with surprise. Choi tells him, "Of course, you did not expect to see me, but I got out of prison on a quick trip just for you." Ming takes him inside and tells him that he lost millions because of him. He reminds him that his companies support many people's homes, and if he falls, many people will become homeless. He assures him that he has millions smuggled out of the country, meaning the day he falls, he will flee outside Korea and live like a king with his money. Choi feels confused after hearing his words. After that, Choi returns to the prison, which he treats like a hotel. He is confused about what to do. He is torn between taking revenge on Ming and destroying the lives of the employees whose work depends entirely on Ming. The next day, Ming talks to Huang and shows him the flash drives he holds against him. These flash drives contain evidence of Huang's corruption. Ming tells him, "Do not forget that you are my dog, and the day you think of biting me, I will finish you off." Huang gets tense and feels that Ming senses his intention to betray him. He walks away from before he notices his tension. After Huang leaves Ming, he goes to meet Choi and tells him that he can no longer work with him. This is because he is not ready to sacrifice his job and his reputation. Choi asks him, "What if I help you improve your reputation, which is currently like crap?" Huang is surprised and looks at him to understand what he means. Choi tells him that if he reveals Ming's corruption, everyone will treat him as the brave hero who saved them from corruption. His reputation will improve and everyone will love him. Huang is tempted by Choi's words. He even starts imagining himself giving the speech at his honoring ceremony by the police. He agrees to continue with him. After that, the officer talks to Choi and informs him that things are getting very tight, so he will not be able to help him in the coming period. Choi gets annoyed and feels the world darkening around him. On the same day, Jin visits Choi and, as usual, promises that she will get him out of prison. Choi has lost hope of getting out, but he pretends to believe her. After that, Jin unties Choi's friend and is surprised when he asks her to let him help them reveal the truth of Ming. She agrees immediately. He goes to attack the gang members, grabs their leader, and threatens to finish him off if he does not tell him where Ming's files are. Jin is monitoring via a recording device with Choi's friend. She rejoices when she finds that Choi's friend pressured the person he is holding and made him reveal the location of the files. But at the last moment, the rest of the gang members enter, attack Choi's friend, and beat him to death. They keep beating him until they finish him off. Kim is monitoring with Jin what is happening. As soon as he learns that Choi's friend died, he goes to visit Choi and breaks the news to him. Choi gets very upset and grieves for his friend. He grieves even more when he hears the recording his friend made seconds before he died, asking him to forgive him. Choi breaks down, remembering his memories with his friend, who was at one point the closest person to him. He is surprised when Kim tells him that before his friend died, he managed to get the address of the place containing the evidence proving his innocence. He informs him that he will storm this place, get the evidence, and get him out. 2 days later, Choi gets out of prison and finds Jin waiting in front of the prison gate. He fights with her because she involved his friend to get him out. He is very annoyed, but Jin believes she is not wrong and had to act to get him out. She takes him to her house. There, she talks to him and tells him that he cannot trust Huang because he is like a predatory dog that might betray him and bite him at any time. Choi tells her he is sure of that, but he needs Huang's help right now and will get rid of him at the right time. At the same time, Huang goes crazy when he learns that Ming sent criminals to finish off the gang member who was arrested. Huang sees that Ming is implicating him with what he is doing. Indeed, he finds journalists gathered at the precinct wanting to know how a criminal was killed inside the precinct. Huang is about to go crazy from what is happening while Ming does not care. The next day, a disaster happens to Huang. He finds himself fired from his job on charges of negligence at work. The matter is catastrophic for him, but he is forced to pack his things and leave. We discover that Choi is the one behind his firing. At this time, Choi goes to meet Ming and agrees with him on a job. That will bring him a lot of money. Ming is very greedy and agrees to return to work with Choi. Choi looks at him with contempt and says to himself, "This greed of yours will be your end." He leaves him and goes to Kim, who is sitting next to his mother, whose condition is worsening day by day. We go to Ming, who talks to Huang angrily and tells him, "Didn't I tell you, you idiot, that money is the real power? See, Choi flew you from your position in the blink of an eye. You know, you deserve it because you intended to betray me. If he hadn't caused your firing, I would have done it." Huang gets annoyed and decides to take revenge on both of them. Huang is very upset, so he goes to drink and returns home not in his right mind. His wife gets annoyed when she sees him in this state. She tries to talk to him and comfort him, but he does not feel her presence at all because he is in another world. Suddenly, he loses consciousness completely. Huang's wife decides to act and goes to Choi and agrees with him that she will help him with anything he wants, but in return, he must help her husband and return him to work. The next day, Huang's wife returns home and is surprised to see Huang wearing an apron and cooking. She understands that he is trying to adapt to staying at home. She gets very annoyed because he decided to give up so easily. She talks to him sadly and asks if he might leave her. He looks at her in surprise, not understanding what she means. She tells him she is sure that every time he sees her, he remembers her father and what he is doing to him. That is why he might divorce her at any time. She is choked up while speaking. Huang notices this, so he calms her down and tells her it is impossible for him to do that and leave her. He will not hold her responsible for her father's sins. We go to Jin, who is talking talking to Choi about work. For the first time, she does not mention revenge. Choi tells her, "Wow, I thought that revenge was the only thing left in your dictionary." Jin is still planning revenge, but she hides it from Choi because he might stop her. She changes the subject and sits down to play chess with him. After that, Ming goes to talk to Huang and tells him, "Surely now you are sure that you are a failure and you have no one but me. So do not try to play tricks on me because I will cut off your tail." Huang gets annoyed by Ming insulting him every now and then. He boils with rage and swears to himself that he will teach him a lesson. He leaves him and goes to meet his friend who was his snitch, transferring all the employees' news to him. He asks him to get him important files. He wants to use these files to try to return to his job. But the surprise is that this friend refuses to get him the files and tells him, "You have fallen now, and if I help you, I will fall with you. I am not ready to destroy my future for you." He walks away and leaves him. Wang breaks down because he lost the only person who could have helped him, but he refuses to surrender and runs to Choi. As soon as he sees him, he falls on his knees and begs him to help him. Choi rejoices because his opportunity came right to him, and he will be able to control Huang. The next day, a new disaster falls on Huang's head because Jin holds a press conference where she announces that Huang is the cause of the cases that were fabricated against her mother. This time she has evidence. Choi pressures Huang a little and forces him to enter the press conference. Huang enters, broken, and stands to speak in Jin's place. As soon as he speaks, he says he regrets what he did to Jin's mother and admits that he was the one who implicated her mother in cases she had nothing to do with. This was because Ming was the one who made him do that, to keep Jin's mother away from the elections. At that moment, Ming is watching the press conference and loses his temper as soon as Huang mentions him. He says, "That idiot is going to destroy us all." But the shocks do not end for him because his assistant also records a video that is shown at the press conference, confirming Huang's words. Ming cannot comprehend that everyone has turned against him. At the same time, Choi is sitting watching the press conference and remembers when he promised Huang that he would return him to his position if he did what he wanted. At this time, Kim enters on Choi, talks to him, and asks him, "What are you planning?" He tells him, "Nothing. I will destroy all of them. That's all." The next day, Choi goes to meet his colleague and tells her that it seems Ming will not leave him alone. He sent some retards like him to watch him, but he misled them and escaped from them. His colleague warns him against playing with Ming because he is not easy. He tells her that Ming's end will be at his hands. He leaves her and goes to the meeting Jin is holding. They have gathered all the people who lost their money due to investing with Ming. They promise them that they will return all their money if they agree to work with them. This is an offer that cannot be refused, so they all agree to work with Choi. After that, Choi invites a large number of officers to his house. These officers are Huang's colleagues, who is shocked as soon as he sees them. Choi tells him that he managed to gather money for his benefit, and the time has come for authority to be with him too. He keeps drinking with them and manages to persuade them to help him destroy Ming. The next day, Choi fulfills his promise and returns Huang to his job. Everyone welcomes Huang, who cannot believe he is back. He becomes sure that Choi is the real power. He goes to his office and practices his work naturally as if nothing happened. Kim keeps looking at him, wondering how Choi managed to bring him back after what happened. After that, Huang talks to Choi and informs him that he was promoted. Choi tells him, "I know, it is all because of my recommendations." He keeps reminding him all the time of what he did for him so he does not think of betraying him. After a few days, Ming is arrested on charges of corruption and bribery. Huang goes to interrogate him and tells him, "See how the world turns? Here you are under my thumb." Ming smiles at Huang and tells him, "I was sure you had a hand in what happened to me, but rest assured I will never fall no matter how hard you try, and I will remain here despite all of you." Huang tells him, "Good morning to you. You have already fallen, and now you are thrown in prison. I would like to give you the good news that you will stay thrown in here until you rot." Huang ends the interrogation, walks away, and leaves Ming. After that, Huang goes to Choi's house and asks him, "Didn't you tell me to end corruption and that I am your obedient dog and must execute your orders?" At that moment, a group of officers enters. Choi looks at them, not understanding anything. Huang tells him, "I will explain to you. I got a search warrant to know the source of your obscene wealth. Also, I would like to shock you and let you know that you are accused of fraud and corruption." Choi is shocked and understands that the treacherous Huang decided to betray him. He fights with him, but the officers keep him away. The treacherous Huang looks at him triumphantly and tells him, "See, the obedient dog rebelled against you and bit you. Deal with it now." He orders those with him to arrest him. After that, Choi talks to Huang and tells him, "I understand your mindset. You got scared when you saw me return you to your place easily. You feared that just as I returned you to your place, I could remove you from it again. That is why you decided to get rid of me, so you guarantee staying in your place." So he remains anxious that he could destroy his life at any time. He gets out of prison, but on the condition that he does not hurt him, and threatened him that if he thought of hurting him, he would not leave him alone. After Choi gets out of prison, He goes to meet Jin and tells her that they must get rid of Hwang as soon as possible because if they do not get rid of him, he will finish them all off. The next day, Kim goes to Hwang with a search warrant. Hwang understands that Choi is the one who sent Kim. He tells him, "Surely your uncle sent you to show me up like I showed him up and took his belongings." Kim looks at him defiantly and tells him, "Well, let me search, or do you have something to fear?" He tells him, "No problem, search, but it looks like you will end up in prison very soon because of your uncle." Kim understands that Hwang is threatening, but he does not care about his threat and does not care about him. He goes to search his office, but finds nothing and is forced to leave. At the same time, Ming's daughter goes to visit him in prison and is surprised when he tells her that he wants to repent and live the rest of his life in peace. She looks at him in surprise and tells him, "You and peace cannot be in the same sentence. You never stop planning for evil." Ming tries to convince his daughter that he changed, but she does not believe him and is confident he is planning something. At this time, we see Choi's female colleague in prison. She was arrested on charges that her money has an unknown source and surely she is working in shady business. This is the apparent reason, but of course, in reality, Hwang is the one behind her arrest to use her to pressure Choi. Choi, Hwang's wife, takes her father and brings him back home after Hwang got him a temporary exit permit. She is surprised when she finds Choi in front of her. At that moment, something strange happens. Her father, who claimed to be sick, stands up energetically and goes with Choi. Choi makes him record a video confessing all the disasters he caused and promises him that he will smuggle him out of the country after he confesses what he did. After Ming records the video, Jin talks to Choi and tells him she is sad because Ming confessed all the crimes he committed but refused to mention her mother. He tells her that everything will be revealed, but at the right time. At the same time, Hwang is breaking down because Ming confessed what he did. He fears that Ming will tell everyone that he was the one executing all his plans. Then he would lose his position again. He goes to meet Choi, who surprises him and tells him, "I was confident you would come looking for me. That is why I came to you myself." He goes with him to the library, and there he talks to him and says, "Of course, you want to know what I intend to do. I will relieve you even though you don't deserve it. All I will do is make you pay the price for the disasters you caused. Do not think you will not be held accountable." He informs him that the officer who was transferring information to him and helping him was arrested and confessed all the disasters they were doing together. Hwang gets tense and tells him he is useless and doesn't know anything. At that moment, Kim enters and tells Hwang that he is the one who interrogated the officer, and he also confessed that they smuggled Ming out of prison more than once. He shows him the arrest warrant he has and tells him that he is under arrest for abuse of power. Hwang looks at the handcuffs being put on his hands and cannot believe he is ruined, and this time he really fell. Choi looks at him triumphantly and tells him, "Didn't I tell you that you are just a dog, and the day you think of biting me, I will finish you off? Honestly, the look of the handcuffs on your hands makes me happy." Hwang walks with him while shocked and unable to look the officers watching him in the eye. Thus, Hwang is finished forever. After that, he is taken to the interrogation room. He is surprised when he finds Ming there and asks him what brought him back to prison. Ming replies while ashamed of his stupidity and tells him that Choi made him confess his crimes and promised him that he would smuggle him out of the country, but he tricked him, took his confession, handed it to the police, and returned him to prison. Again, their conversation is interrupted by the officer entering and mocking them, telling Ming, "Take care of your son-in-law since you are now an expert in prisons." He leaves them. At the same time, Choi celebrates with Jin and Kim because he triumphed over Ming, and Hwang defeated them and put them in prison. But this time there is evidence, and they won't be able to get out like they used to do every time. The next day, Choi takes Jin and goes to visit Jin's mother's grave. He tells her that he got her rights back from those who caused what happened to her. Jin is very happy because she finally managed to restore her mother's rights, imprisoned Ming, and took revenge on him. Even if he did not confess that he finished off her mother, he was punished in the end. After that, Choi goes to meet his female colleague, whom he got out of prison, and asks her to give money to everyone who helped them in the revenge against Ming. We go to Kim, who decided to work with Jin. He opened a law firm with her, and they started handling cases together. He got rid of the exploitation he was subjected to by the owner of the office where he worked. In the last scene, we see Choi in Mongolia, riding his horse and running happily, feeling free. He decided to buy land, to farm, live a quiet life, and rest from the conflicts he lived in for years. Here ends our series for today. I hope you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive everything new. Goodbye.